super thin guy here once again. I know it's been a while, but I just wanted to make a quick video on something that I think it's important and it needs to be said, and its implications are pretty serious. For example, take the Galaxy M87 or Virgo A. Is said to be 53 million light years away. And get this, it is also supposed to be 120,000 light years in diameter, and its jet extends at least 4,900 light years. With all that in mind, we shouldn't see the galaxy moving in such vast distances. But actual images shows this. We see the plasma moving around distances that should be hundreds, if not thousands, of light years within the galaxy and in the jet too. So how can this be? Either the plasma is moving several times beyond the speed of light, which shouldn't be possible or visible according to the theory of relativity, because the speed of light is the propagation speed in the fabric of space-time. Or, which is more plausible, is that the galaxy is actually much smaller and closer to us, especially considering that the distance of the galaxy is based on the assumption that the galaxy's redshift indicates its distance, which hasn't been confirmed scientifically. And we actually have data showing connected galaxies and quasars with very different redshifts. Things like this are being systematically ignored and not even discussed. Halton Arp, for example, an astrophysicist, was rudely forced to resign from the Carnegie Institution of Washington for showing connected galaxies with different redshifts.
ARP is often referred to as the modern Galileo.
I remember when I sent the paper into, the first paper into Astrophysical Journal on the nature of companion galaxies, and I had a lot of them on the ends of spiral arms, so I was sure that they were connected, and I showed that they were systematically redshifted. I sent that in with, with naive, great expectations that people would be terribly interested and impressed on this. And the editor of the Astrophysical Journal at that time was Subrahmanyan Chandrasekhar, who had a fantastic reputation as a master theoretician and also quite an incomprehensible theoretician, and a tremendously powerful figure in the field, and editor of the Astrophysical Journal, which is probably the most powerful position in the field. And he chose not to, in his wisdom and judicial fairness, chose not to send it to a referee, but he just wrote across the paper, "This exceeds my imagination," and he sent it back to the director of my institute, Horace Babcock, with the obvious implication: you've got to do something about this staff member of yours who's doing these very bad things. And so Horace called me down in the office one day after this, and I walked in his office, into the director's office, and I saw this paper lying in front of him with Chandrasekhar's scroll across it. And Horace looked at me and said, "Well," he said, "this is just too much, and you're going to have to start looking for another job." And so all I could say to him was, "Well, if you send me that in writing, please send me in writing." And I was waiting in great trepidation for weeks and months to get something in writing, and I finally never did, so I realized that he decided to give me another chance, so to speak. So that was fairly early in the game, and then some years went by, and there was the competition for time, particularly on the 200-inch telescope, was getting more and more heated, and people were saying, "Well, we can't continue to give time to this obviously incorrect and embarrassing research that ARP does." So finally they sent a letter to me from the allocation committee, including a number of the younger members of my institute, saying that unless I changed my line of research, that they would have to take away my telescope time.
Halton Arp then moved to the reputable Max Planck Institute of Astrophysics. But unfortunately, not as influential as his previous job. Getting back to the point of this video, as can be seen in only 1 year, we are seeing plasma moving throughout the span of the galaxy, which at least means the distances are no greater than 1 light year, or the distance that light travels in 1 year. The stars and galaxies could be much closer to each other, and the implications are enormous. Since gross negligence can be assumed as fraud, it is pretty reasonable to say that we are being fed a false picture of the cosmos. At this day and age, never take information at face value. The news media and the internet is crawling with shills for pretty much any audience, even for small groups. So be careful.